Hello, my name is Dika Alina, and today I'm going to tell you about my coursework. The topic of my coursework is expressive means in the speech of characters and methods of its translation into Ukrainian, based on Lewis Carroll's fairy tale Alice in Wonderland, Lewis Carroll Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. Relevance of my coursework is the lack of research into expressive means in character speech in Lewis Carroll's work. Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, and methods of their transfer in the Ukrainian translation, which until now were considered only in a general context, as well as the popularity of the studied work in various national literatures. Novelty of my coursework is systematization of expressive means of speech in Lewis Carroll's work Alice in Wonderland through a detailed study of the methods of their transmission in English-Ukrainian translation. The object of research is expressive means of speech of the characters Lewis Carroll's work. The subject of the research is systematization of means of expression and methods of their translation from English into Ukrainian in a literal text based on Lewis Carroll's fairy tale Alice in Wonderland. Purpose of my work is to systematize the means of expressing expressiveness and to investigate ways of their translation from English to Ukrainian in an artistic text. The material was taken as 60 original sentences with expressive means of speech from the text Lewis Carroll's work Alice in Wonderland and 60 sentences from the text of the translation authored by Kornienko. The theoretical significance of the work is emphasized by the possibility of using further knowledge to expand information on the expressive means of speech of the characters and methods of their translation in future scientific works. The practical significance of the work is reflected in the opportunity to use the acquired knowledge as practical recommendations for translations of artistic texts, saturated with an expressive layer of vocabulary during work as a translator. Types of expressiveness: figurative expressiveness, expressiveness of exaggeration, inherent, adherent, semantic, denotative, contextual, and linguistic. Levels of expressiveness: phonetic, morphological, lexical, synthetic, the level of the text structure unit, and paralinguistic. Translation transformation. Investigating ways of convenient expressiveness in the translation of Lewis Carroll's work from English to Ukrainian, it can be seen that translators resort to lexical, lexical, grammatical, and grammatical translation transformations. The analysis was carried out according to the classification of the outstanding Ukrainian translation expert Karabana in two directions. First, we analyzed lexical transformations, and then we moved on to the study of grammatical ones. Lexical transformations in our study are represented by generalization, specification, deletion, addition, word permutation, and replacement of parts of speech. The most used translation transformation turned out to be the replacement of a word from one part of the language with a word from another part of the language. This transformation is 31%. For example, down, down, down would the fall never come to an end. Униз, 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 от би падати так до безкінечності. Removal of Caravan considers the elimination of those pleonastic or tautological lexical elements in the translation text. In our case, 25% is represented. As she said these words, her foot slipped and in another moment splashed. She was up to her chin in salt water. На останньому слові вона повскользнулась і шибовсть, по шию опинилася в солоній воді. The transformation of addition is used quite rarely. It consists in the introduction into the translation of lexical elements that are absent in the original in order to correctly convey the meaning of the sentences. And this is only 11% of the total. There are no mice in the air, I'm afraid, but you might catch a bat, and that's very like a mouse, you know. Миші так глибоко, боюся, не водяться, але кроти, близькі мишачі родичі, тут, мабуть, є. The concretization of meaning is a lexical transformation as a result of which a rolled or term of broader semantics in the original is replaced by a rolled of term of narrower semantics. In our study, is share 18%. For example, so she called softly after it, mouse dear. Мишечко, шкребетушечко, лагідно погукала Аліса. Generalization replaces a rolled with a narrower meaning with a rolled with a broader meaning or even a hyponym. It covers only 5% because its use can lead to the loss of a certain amount of information and decrease its accuracy. I do wish they would put their heads down. Чому ніхто сюди навіть не загляне? The word permutation transformation is also not very popular and occupies only 11%. A little bright-eyed terrier, with such long curly brown hair. Тер'єрчик, очка блискучі, шорточка довга-придовга, руда й кучерява. Here you can see our search results. The most popular was substitution of parts of speech, then concretization, permutation, exclusion, addition, as the most used was generalization. Grammatical transformations. We considered grammatical translation transformations according to Caraban's classification. The study includes substitution or replacement, permutation, removal, and addition. Substitution is aimed at adapting the original language to the features of the translation language by replacing grammatical signs of word forms, parts of speech, and classes, occupies 38%. However, this bottle was not marked poison, so Elias ventured to taste it and found it very nice. It had in fact a sort of mixed flavor of cherry tart, custard, pineapple, roast turkey, toffee, and hot buttered toast. She very soon finished it off. Проте на цій пляшечці такого напису не було, тож Алісі таки відважилася з нею надсьорбнути. Виявилося, що це доволі смачно, як пиріг з вишнями, заварний крем, ананас, смажена індичка, іристий та гарячі грінки разом узяті. Аліса хильцем спорожнила пляшечку. Extraction is aimed at extracting a certain language element in the translation process. In our study, it is used very often, 34%. For example, not like cats, cried the mouse in a shrill, passionate voice. Would you like cats if you were me? Недолюблюю котів, звириснула миша, а ти б їх долюблювала на моєму місці. Addition is the opposite transformation to subtraction and occupies only 13% of all translational transformations studied. For example, I really must be getting home. The night air doesn't suit my throat. Думайте, що хочете, але я мушу йти додому. Нічне повітря не моє горло. Permutation, first of all, is aimed at changing the position of one or another word in the translation. In our study, it is represented by 16%. For example, it's the stupidest tea party I ever was at in all my life. Скільки живу, дурнішої компанії не бачила. Here you can see our results of research project. The most popular was substitution, then exclusion, permutation, and the most rare one is addition. The ability and skills to work with translation transformations are an essential component of the competence of a real translator. The need for the use lies deeply in the need to translate grammatical or lexical phenomena that are absent or insufficiently developed in the Ukrainian language. Thank you for your attention. That's all.